So there's an interesting fact I actually realized a few hours ago. First of all, I don't know, should I apologize for not being available for so long? Um, well, I apologize. I'm sorry I wasn't there. I don't know. Maybe one of you actually got started developing a liking for my content. Well, I hope you did. But this is more of like a note to my future self, so that I can actually remember what life was like when I was younger, in my younger days, how I was during my younger days, how I thought, my thought process, whatever ideas I actually had, whatever dreams I had, and how I spoke and how I articulated my ideas. um no one cares. Okay, no one really cares whether you decide to put on that t-shirt that you think smells, whether you decide to put on that pair of jeans that that is fading. No one will actually notice. You'll actually say, oh manze, hii jeans bana leo sikuwa nataka kuivalia, I did not want to wear it because it's fading. But people will tell you, oh, I never really noticed, I didn't even notice. Why? Because they also have things of their own in their minds. Okay, people have stress. People have things that are on their minds that they did not really want to talk about or think about, that they would rather think about than actually start criticizing your dress code or whatever it is you're wearing. People will not criticize how your eyes look. Well, I hope I could tell myself that so much. People don't really notice the things that you actually notice about yourself, or things that you dislike about yourself. People won't notice that, and they will start noticing it the moment you start showing insecurities about that thing. For example, I've been dating my girl for quite some time, and she has never really noticed that my eyes were squinted, so to speak. So when I pointed it out, that was when I realized that she had never really noticed it. She had never really seen my squinted eyes, and the moment I actually talked about it was when she actually noticed that my eyes were actually squinted. So she can never really unsee that. She can't stop thinking about it. And this has a name. It's called the spotlight effect. The spotlight effect is, a theory, or a study or something, whereby we think that people actually see us, people think about us, people judge us based on how we look, what we wear, how we smell. But in the real sense, a really small percentage actually notices whatever it is that we're insecure about. Okay, the others don't really care. As long as you're there, as long as you have arrived, some people won't even see you stepping through that door. As much as you'll feel abashed or ashamed of coming into that door, or toppling on that stage. Not many people will actually notice it. You'll be ashamed because you'll be thinking, oh my goodness, I actually toppled and maybe fell on that stage. But in the real sense, no one actually noticed. No one saw you fall off that stage. No one thought of it with the weight that you're actually thinking of it with. Okay, so this is me thinking, what if we did not have that? What if we did not really care about what other people thought about us? What if other people's opinions did not really shape who we were, who we are, and who we are going to be? What if other people's opinions will never ring in our minds? will we become better people? Why wouldn't we become better people? Okay. Like, I tell myself that there are people who learn from their mistakes. Case in point, me, I've made so many mistakes, and I believe you have to. When you think back to, your life and all that you've done, all that has happened, you'll see all these mistakes that you can actually call your own. As much as you'll say that it wasn't your fault in public, deep down you know that it was actually your fault. You actually caused this and that to happen. You caused a loss in someone's business, for example. You lost a certain amount of money because of maybe gambling or recklessness. So thinking back to all that stuff, you realize that, wow, I actually made some mistakes. I actually learned from some mistakes, and I've never really gotten myself to learn from this and that mistake. Okay, and then now there are people who have made so many mistakes, have done all that stuff. Life didn't go too well for them, and now they're in, this rut whereby they have all this debt. They cannot pay their own rent. They have trouble in paying rent, so they have to, maybe shift their wives and children or husband. They have to shift their wives and children to a country, or maybe the husband moves to a different town and leaves the wife in, at home. So there's so much that actually happens when it comes to doing all this stuff. I've actually forgotten what I was talking about. This is interesting. I think I'm falling asleep because as I'm recording this, it's actually 1 a.m. and I just had this crazy thought in my mind that people don't really care, and also the effect creeped up on me, and I had to actually talk about it. I was talking about mistakes. We'll find people. Well, in high school, I found someone. There was someone who was actually slashing grass at the school gate. And when he saw us, we were actually reporting to school. So when he saw us, he told us, kids, make sure that you guys study so that you don't come to your school fence and start, slashing grass and doing all that stuff. So in my head, nowadays, every time I procrastinate, every time I delay from doing something, that is the guy that I think of. You understand? I think of myself as that person. What if I end up maybe slashing grass outside people's schools or people's homes or fences? No offense, by the way. No offense intended. But what if I end up like that after knowing that I need to work hard so that I can actually get out of that rut? But then another side of me tells me that, you know what? As much as you're educating yourself, as much as you're getting all this content from school, you should also think of becoming an entrepreneur. And then another part of me comes and tells me, yo, fam, so you want to become an entrepreneur. So what problem is it that you want to solve? Because entrepreneurs solve people's problems, right? If it's Elon Musk solves people's problems of maybe, let's say, fuel prices and what else? A clean environment, because the Tesla is actually quite effective in terms of preserving the environment. It doesn't really pollute the environment as such. When it comes to what else solves people's problems? Ebooks, right? Instead of buying ebooks and walking with them everywhere, right now it's actually normal to walk around with your phone or tablet and and actually do your things from there. So now solving the problem of people who feel uncomfortable reading with books, for example, reading physical books, you bring in the Kindles and the ebooks. I'm actually making one on my own, thinking of maybe making some poetry. Yes, I write poetry, or maybe making some recipes and maybe getting our website online and doing all this stuff. So anyway, we're talking about businesses. What are we talking about? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think I should actually end there because sleep is creeping in. Money creeping up. Yeah, I think I'm getting sleepier and sleepier. They should call it a day, call it a night. Thank you guys for listening to me. Also, don't forget to like and maybe leave your response if there's room for that. If not, you can reach out to me on social media. Yeah. You guys have a good day. Oh, a good night or a good morning. I don't know, wherever you are, you enjoy yourself and remember, no one actually cares. No one is looking at you, no one is watching you, no one is observing you. They'll all wait at the finish line and they will not recount your failures and laugh at your failures when you've actually succeeded. No one will think of your failures when you've succeeded. Maybe they'll use your failures as stories of stepping stones and stories of resilience because of where you've actually reached, right? Yeah, I think that's all I can actually talk about or maybe contribute to this platform for the time being, as I look for co-hosts and all that stuff. Anyway, you guys enjoy yourselves. I'll try and keep it as frequent as I possibly can. Bring up as many podcasts as I possibly can, as many episodes as I possibly can. You guys enjoy yourselves and don't forget, you actually need to get out of your comfort zone to deal with yourself. You need to think of your future. You also need to have that storyboard, right? Where you can write your visions and where you see yourself in the next 5 years, where you see yourself in the next 8 years, and all that stuff.